Hi guys, it's Jennifer, and today I'm going to be doing a book talk on Unported, Mist and Fury, and I'm so excited because this was such an amazing book. This is actually the first time I read a Sarah J. Maas book, and I know I have Throne of Glass, the series, but I did buy it for my little sister since she is actually reading it, and she is halfway through, and she actually bought A Court in Throne of Roses, expecting to get to it soon, which she hasn't, so I have no one to talk about this with. But honestly, I didn't plan out this book talk, so if I miss a few parts, I'm sorry. I read this all of like yesterday and today morning, so I honestly read it in a one sitting, so I just have so much feelings and I just need to get it out there. So this is more like a book vent because I need to vent about how I'm feeling. But so I'm sorry if I really don't get to some parts or I forget some parts. I just really didn't write anything down. I did write some things down for A Court in Throne of Roses, but I'm not actually going to review that just because I don't think it even compares to this one. This one's like 110 times better. It was just great, and this was great. Like, you would think a second book would be like a slump and it wouldn't be too good, but this was incredible, and I would just, if you didn't like this one much, just pick this one up. Like, you would literally not regret it because this was just, it blew this one out the window, like, honestly. Definitely one of my favorite books ever now. Like, honestly, I can't get over like how much feelings and how much like things happened, and it was great. And if you haven't read this book yet, please do it, just so you can get to this one, just so you can experience everything that went on in this one, and you would fall in love. It's great. I can't think of anything else to describe it. The thing I also wanted to warn you guys is that this is a book that ventures more into new adult fantasy because it has a lot of sexual and sex scenes that go on here that are very descriptive. So I guess if you are not okay with that or not mature enough to read that, then I would suggest like putting it off until you are old enough maybe. Or if you're just not comfortable with it, just not reading it, because there's a lot of those scenes and they're everywhere and there's just a lot. I can't say anything without spoiling the book, so I'm sorry. I really can't because it is a second book, so I don't want to like get into too much because later you're gonna know what happens, and I really don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So if you haven't read this book, please exit now. One thing I also wanted to mention is when I was reading the first book, I did like Tamlin, but I really didn't feel like a love for him as I wanted to feel for a love interest of a character that I like to read about. So I really didn't feel that emotional connection that I had to like Tamlin. And so when I read about Rhys, I was like, this better be going somewhere. When I read it in this book, I was like, this better be going somewhere. They better have some type of connection. And in my mind, when Tamlin was talking about his parents being mates, I was like, hopefully Farah has a mate, even though I haven't heard anything about mates being with someone human. Faye being with someone human, but I wanted it to happen because I kind of wanted her to have like a mate. So when I saw Rhys, I was just like, even though he's very dangerous, I thought it was like, I don't know, I liked him a lot. So at the same time, I was like, oh my god, this better be a thing. Like, they better be like something, because Tamlin's nice and all, but Rhys is hot. Like, Rhys is hot. Even though he is the character in the book, like, when I see him, he's like smoking hot, like, yes. So I really wanted them to be together, and I'm so happy they were. I'm so happy when I read this. I was just like, yes, they're mates. Like, yes, I'm so happy that happened, because it honestly, I was just like, at least I was right. I wanted them to be a thing. I didn't know they were going to be mates, and I'm so happy they were because that was incredible, and I love them together. They're such an unbreakable, beautiful bond that I really can't stop talking about it or thinking about it. So this opens up as Freya, and she's very depressed. She's feeling very depressed, and she has PTSD of what happened at Under the Mountain. And if you remember, Under the Mountain, she had to kill 2 Fays, and at the 3rd Fae, she honestly, if there was another one, she probably wouldn't. She said that she wouldn't have killed it. She would have killed herself. And she's just feeling so many emotions and so much guilt that even if she did save so many people, she just feels so much guilt for killing other Fays. And she's just really like out of it. She's not painting anymore, which was her like favorite thing to do, because she can't stand the color red because it reminds her of blood and all that. And Tamlin is really not noticing anything of this. He has his own problems, I guess, but I feel like even if he had his own problems, like, he should have noticed. And he absolutely doesn't, and it absolutely drives me crazy during the first half of it. That moment where he locked her up in the house, I absolutely wanted to like stab him. I wanted to fucking stab him so badly, and it was so bad, and I was just like, what are you doing? First of all, she felt trapped under the mountain. Wouldn't he come to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. This is gonna absolutely freak her out. Oh, I started to hate him in the beginning, and I think I hated him when he like ruined his study I think it was a study, right? Of so much anger because she was like explaining that she felt like she was suffocating. And I'm like, first of all, if she says that to you, you should be, oh, let me see how I can fix it, not get angry that she voiced her opinion. Drove me crazy. I'm just feeling a lot of anger towards him. And yeah, of course, who wouldn't? At the end of the novel, I literally was like, what's wrong with you? So Reese apparently has been popping in and checking on her, and he obviously notices that something is wrong, but he doesn't really know what to do, I guess, or what to say, because obviously she's getting married to Tamlin, and he doesn't know, I guess, how to deal with that in a way. But he pops up right at the greatest moment, and when she was actually talking, she was like, oh, I just need to get out of here, I'm gonna say no and all that. I was like, yo, Reese, pop up, like, this is the best opportunity, just pop on in, like, please do. And he did, and I was like, yes, you just saved her from doing, like, the most horrible mistake that she would ever do. And side note, I just wanted to talk about the little part that I really liked was when Reese brought her to the night court. She was a little angry, so she went and she threw a shoe right at him. I think that was the first time she like went there, and she got really angry and she literally picked up her shoe and aimed for his head, and that was great. I died during that moment. That was just great. I was laughing so much, just like, really. I also really liked when they were in a night court, Reese actually wanted to teach her how to like read and write and all that. And I love when he had his little lessons. It was like, Reese is the best High Lord ever. Reese is the sexiest High Lord ever. Reese is this, Reese is this. And I just found that hilarious that he was like, he just loved talking about himself that much, and I loved it. I loved when he did that. Even though she was quite annoyed with it, it was a great moment. It was great. Okay, let's talk about the inner circle. I love the inner circle. I'm sorry if I pronounce some names wrong. I'm not good at names, right? Cassian, I love Cassian. He's just like such like strong Illyrian. Is that how you pronounce the warriors' names? Very strong Illyrian person. I don't know, warrior thing. And he's just incredible, and I love him and his personality. And I just love everyone in the inner circle. They all have something like that I love about them, and I love them all together. Like, it is incredible. And I also love Azrael? I'm not too good at names. Anyways, I love him. And him and Moore better be like something. Like, if they are not something at the end of the third book, I'm literally gonna chuck my book at like a wall. I'm joking, I wouldn't do that because I wouldn't do that to a book. But I'm really gonna be really angry if nothing happens between them. And also, quick side note, Cassian and Nesta, if they aren't mates, then I am done. If they are not mates, I am gone. Like, they need to be mates. They either that or they need to have a relationship there, because I need them together. Because once he defended her at her house when the human queens came up, I was just like, oh my god, he's defending her. Like, I legit started smiling like a crazy person. I was just so happy that he was defending her, even though like they both like to like spit at each other in no type of way, like always like having something to say about each other. And I love that he, even through that, like, he defended her. And when I saw them, when they were like always like talking to each other like in that way, I was just like, is this like a little flirting technique? Like, are they just being mean to each other but they really like feel something? So I'm really happy, and I'm really hoping that something does develop there, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna be really sad. Alright, side note. Alright, we're done with that. And I also love Amrin, even though we don't know what she is, and apparently we're gonna find out in the third book, which I'm really excited to find out what she is, because she's very like out of this world, and she has really different strong powers, and she's just such a badass like female character, and I love her, and she just doesn't take shit from anyone, and I absolutely adore that. So I love her as a character. I really hope we see more of her. Obviously we're gonna see more of the inner circle in the next book, but I'm just so happy about her. Like, she was just such a cool character to read about. So I wanted to talk about the Court of Dreams. Sorry, the Court of Dreams. I forgot how to actually pronounce the area that is called. Let me just look at the name again, because I honestly am really bad at pronouncing names, so I didn't want to butcher it. But it says here, Veralis. Is that how you pronounce it? Veralis? That, when they described that, I was just like, wow, there's such a place that like is that like beautiful. Like, it was just phenomenal to read about that place, and I'm just so happy that even though everyone thinks that like Reese is such like a dangerous High Lord and the most powerful High Lord, which he is, but that they think that he's so heartless, and really he isn't. He defended this place, didn't tell anyone about it, concealed it from anywhere, like destroyed and did anything to keep this place alive, and his friends were in there, and so much like people were in there, and he just did all that. And for no one to know that he like sacrificed so much of himself to save Viralis was just, it was incredible that he was so like selfless to do that. I wanted to skip to the part of what happened when Freya needed to talk to the human queens and they had to borrow her family's house, and they had Nesta and Elaine there, and Nesta's so protective over Elaine, and I just love that, but at the same time I'm like, what about like Freya? Like whenever like Nesta is just so protective over Elaine, I'm like, so Freya is nothing to you? Like it absolutely hurts me. Like I know she cares in a way, and I guess her own way, but she cares so much about Elaine, like 100% more, and that just hurts me that Freya didn't like feel that like love as much as Elaine had from Nesta, and that really like hurts me. Like I don't know. I really wish maybe they become closer during the third book. I'm not too sure. But I wanted to talk about how Nesta just literally like snarkled right back to the human queens. Like she was like, give my sister the book. I don't care, just give me my sister the book. She defended, even though she knew that maybe it was better to like shut her mouth. She didn't, and I love that she's such a strong character and she speaks her minds. And I just love that about her, and that she doesn't care, and she'll just say what she needs to say, either to protect her sister or to just get what her other sister needs. So I just love that. Let's talk about that part where Reese and the Inner Circle have to go to the Court of Nightmares, and they have to go get, because they have to go get the orb to give to the human queens to show them Viralis and all that. And when Freya was acting as his lap pet, kind of in a way, like just his sexual like possession in a way. I love the sexual tension that was going on there. I don't know why, but that was such like a nicely like written scene, like that they were both feeling so much of this like sexual tension. I just love that part. I honestly, like, while that was happening, I was smiling like really happy. I was really happy. I was like, yes. Like, yes, you both need to snap out of it and just like fall in love. Like, I'm just so over this. I need you guys to be together. And while that was happening, I was just like, wow, sexual tension is like up there on the roof. Like, it is just high up. They're just feeling everything. And yeah. The other part I wanted to talk about was when they got attacked at the forest by the Illyrian camps, and they were attacked by the Highburn warriors, and oh my god, that terrified me. That he, like, it was so nice that he protected her, and he got hit so many times. And after she gets out all the arrows, she tries to find a Sorrel? I don't know how to pronounce that word. She traps one of those again, like she did in the first book, and basically he tells her that Reese is his mate. I mean, her mate, and she's just like, what? She's just like so confused. Stressful. It was stressful to see like Reese obviously being so heartbroken, but and she being so mad at him, even though she had the, I guess, the right to be mad at him because he didn't tell her. But at the same time, when was he going to tell her? Like, while she was almost getting married, while she was so depressed, while all this happening, I don't know when she would have, like, when he would have had the chance to say it. But I get why she's mad. But when they got back to the Illyrian camp that they were staying at, she looks at Moore and she's like, take me out of here, I don't want to be in here. And Moore sends her off to this like cabin, I guess, in like a woody area that just, like, I guess regenerates and like does whatever, like if you wish something to pop up, like if you wish hot water in like the bathtub, it like pops up and all that. And she stays there for like a few days, like 3 days pass, and Moore checks on her. And she's still like contemplating whether, like, what happened and how she feels. And I like when Reese pops up at the cabin and he explains to her his whole life and what he felt and how he has known that he was her mate since like the beginning. He had dreams about her while he was stuck being a whore for Amrita, and that it was like his small little hope. And that broke my heart that he knew, that was crazy because I was like, I didn't know that he knew for that long, and knew from that time before she even went to Spring Court that he was her mate. And I just thought that was so nice, and I'm so surprised that he kept it so hidden, and he didn't tell anyone because I guess he didn't want her to get hurt or to get taken or tortured. And I thought that was so beautiful. Sorry, it was so good. My voice is gone. I'm so. And while he's saying that story, he told the story about how Tamlin's family murdered his mother and sister, and later when they came back to retaliate, his father and everything, Tamlin cut off his father's wings And I saw someone's comment or something on Tumblr, I think it was Tumblr, talking about how the Reese's father's wings are probably in Tamlin's bedroom, because we haven't heard anything about Tamlin's bedroom. We all hear about Tamlin sleeping in Freya's room, but we never hear about Freya ever being in Tamlin's room. So I'm pretty positive that the wings are probably standing up there as a little prize in his bedroom, where he can stare at it all the time and be like, wow, that's what I did. Because you know what? Tamlin's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. I just really don't like him anymore. I really don't. Go to the part where Hybern and the warriors go and try to destroy Veralis, because obviously the queens told Hybern that there is this beautiful city that no one knows about, Veralis, and they of course attacked, which honestly broke my heart, because Veralis is just so, it's so untouchable and perfect, and Rhys literally risked so much to protect this city, and that people were actually warriors were actually trying to destroy this place absolutely crushed me. And obviously Rhys, because this is his place, and everyone else actually, the Inner Circle and Freya, because this is their home. Their home is being destroyed. And I love how Freya, during this attack, she doesn't go back to the house. She goes and she defends this home, because this is now her home, and she feels that these are her people, and she goes and defends it with all her. So after the attack on Velaris, the Inner Circle, they all decide that they're going to evade Hybern in a way and get the Calberon and destroy it and nullify his power with the Book of Breathings. And Freya's supposed to do this. She's supposed to go in there, have one book in the other side, or one book in the other side of her jacket, and say the words, and it will nullify the Calberon. But when she gets there, she ends up having all these voices, I guess, tell her to put the books together, and she does. Which I also want to know, what are the repercussions for having those books? Because Amarin said that the worst creatures that you wouldn't even imagine would come. So I really wonder what's going to happen in the third book, because if there's really there's all these bad creatures that are even worse than Hybern, I don't even want to imagine what is going to happen, since the books were now attached. So she basically failed at what she was supposed to do, and it ends up being a trap. Hybern knew that they were coming and set up this trap so they can take all of them and hurt all of them, and basically traps them all in there. He has a bunch of those Atar creatures, those horrible creatures, surrounding them. And I think Arzel gets hurt, and later Cassian gets hurt. His wings are shattered, which absolutely terrifies me, and I hope he's alright, and I hope Arzel's alright at the ending of the book. I mean, it shows that they're treating them, so I think he'll be alright. Hopefully Cassian's wings aren't ruined, because even Rhys said in the ending of the book, a Lyrian without wings, he would rather die. And hopefully his wings are right. Hopefully, I swear. After Tamlin says he was working with Hybern to basically get Freya back, which absolutely pissed me off so much. I hated him, and now I despise him. And while this was happening, the Atars were surrounding them, which were those ugly creatures that were very bad. And the queens came in afterwards, after all that craziness. And the queens come in, and they're because they're obviously ratted out that Veralis was a place. And I saw them and I was like, no, get out, just get out. I was thinking that the whole time. Brought out Nesta and Elaine, which was Freya's sisters. And that absolutely terrified me, because I didn't want anything to happen to them. Just let them be, please let them be. And Hybern was talking about how the Calberon could help the human queens live forever, be immortal. And obviously they were all about that, which is really annoying. You're human, just be human. You don't become a fae. You don't need to become fae. If you're the human queens, be the human queens. After Elaine comes out and she's alive and she's a fae and she's immortal and all that, they said that Nesta's turn was next, and I was completely terrified, because I was like, okay, so Elaine didn't die, plot twist, Nesta's gonna die, and Nesta can't die. Nesta's super strong, she can't die. This is impossible. This better not happen. She didn't. Nesta lives, which I was extremely happy about too, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm so happy. But all that time when Nesta was being put into the Calberon, you see Cassian freaking out, and I'm like, no, they have to be mates. She better not die, because if she dies, it's gonna break Cassian's heart, and Cassian deserves to be happy. He is such a lovable character. He deserves to be happy. So I was really happy that Nesta wasn't dead. So after Freya broke down the wall of power that was keeping them in, she decides that she's going to pretend that she is that she was under this control. under Reese's control, and that it was all, she didn't even know what was going on, and she was sorry, and that she missed Tamlin, and she looked at Tamlin and like told him, oh, I miss you, and all that thing, and later told Hybern to break the bond. And when she said break the bond, it was like, oh my god, they better not break the actual bond. Rhys and more like whittled, whatever, their friends back to Valeris, and they were safe. And later Amren comes in and she's like, wait, what happened? Like, where is she? And Rhys doesn't respond. And she was like, where is she? And Rhys still doesn't respond. And I'm just like, Rhys, just respond to her before she gets like really angry. And basically he explains to her that if they only broke the bond of the bargain, they didn't actually break the bond of the like mate. The part where Ammon says, she's your mate, Amren bit at me, not your spy, go get her. She is my mate and my spy, I said too quietly, and she is the High Lady of the Night Court. What? More whispers? And that's when I freaked out, because I was just like, High Lady of the Night Court? Like, yes. At the other part of the book, after Moore said what, after she said High Lady, it says here, I caressed the mental finger down that bond now deep, deep within us, and said if they had removed her other glove, they would have seen the second tattoo on her right arm, and the twin to the other one, inked last night when we crept out and found a priestess, and swore her in as High Lady. Not a consort, Amren blurted, blinking. I haven't seen her surprised since centuries. Not consort, not wife. Freya is the High Lady of the Night Court, my equal in every way. She would wear my crown, sit on my throne beside me, and never sideline, never designed to breeding and parties and childbearing, my queen. Yes, you're a queen, you're mate, you're equal, so beautiful. While I was out, I did write a few predictions or like side things that I didn't want to talk about, so I'll go through these right now really quickly. That I want Tarquin from the Summer Court, for them to solve their issues, because I feel like they would like work really well together. And, you know, I just think that they both have similar views, Rhys and him, and that they would be, like, so, like, good to help the world, like, move on in a better way. So hopefully that will happen. Lucien will help Freya, because since he obviously wants to be with Elaine, and Elaine is Freya's sister, he will help her through all the lying. And I feel like he definitely will betray. I feel like he will betray, like, you know, Tamlin's, like, loyalty and trust, because he obviously, what cares to him most, I would think, would be the mate bond. So hopefully he helps her out. I did mention that we're going to figure out what she is, and I put down that maybe her curse is going to be broken, because I know that a part of the book, Rhys was like, oh, if Amren's curse were ever to be broken, I would tell her to end me first. And I want to see, like, what if her curse is broken? Like, what is going to happen? Is she going to destroy the world? Not on purpose, maybe? Okay, another thing I put down was Freya might be forced to have sex with Tamlin, and hopefully that won't happen, because the thing is, okay, obviously he's gonna think that she is in love with him and everything, and she obviously has to play the role by kissing him and everything, but what about the, like, sex? Like, they did have sex a lot during that time. Obviously, they were in a relationship, and that was happening. The thing is, now I was thinking, maybe she won't be forced to have sex with him, because after I thought about it for a while, I forgot that Freya could mind control. Maybe she can mind control to believe they had sex, or maybe to at least like keep him out of like that thought process for a while, because she can control his brain. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe down below if you did enjoy, and also I'm going to be putting new videos soon, and yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.